Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another cryptocurrency video. Today I'm going to be talking about Vertcoin, giving you my updated thoughts on it. I've gotten a lot of requests to talk a little bit about what was going on with Vertcoin and why is the price dropping so much, and I'm here to answer those questions. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have a lot of Vertcoin supporters on this channel, and that's because I was one of the first people to kind of back Vertcoin when it was under $1. It just started to gain some traction, and I even mentioned it in my top 10 cryptocurrencies of 2018 video. From there, of course, it did really well. It went all the way up to $12. Unfortunately, at around that $10 to $12 mark, it faced it came into a bit of a wall and fell quite a bit from there. So it's definitely facing some issues right now. I'm going to talk a bit about the good things that Vertcoin has going for it, go over the chart, fundamentals, stuff like that. And we're going to get started. So before I get into that, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my premium content. I have monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities, or a new addition that I just added, which is the high return cryptocurrencies for your 2018 portfolio. And these are cryptocurrencies that I've never talked about before. Some of them even include some hidden gems. So if you're interested in that, I have a link in the description, but let's get started with the Vertcoin update. We're going to go first and talk a little bit about the numbers here to just give you a heads up on what's going on. So the first thing that I should point out is that it's now out of the top 100 ranking. Just not long ago, it was doing really well, obviously, and reached around that 30th spot on CoinMarketCap.com. So it had broken into the top 100, and of course, with the recent drop, it actually pushed it out of that top 100 ranking, which is definitely a bad sign, and it doesn't help Vertcoin's case right now because much less attention on it when it's not in the top 100. So it's out of the spotlight as we're currently talking, and that could always change, but definitely a bit of a weak point here for Vertcoin. The market cap is currently sitting at around $260 million, price at $6.27, volume still okay, and another problem that I wanted to bring up with Vertcoin as far as the fundamentals behind maybe this price drop is the fact that a lot of the volume, of course, is coming from Bittrex and Poloniex. The problem with that is that Bittrex is currently not, which is the main exchange for Vertcoin, is currently not accepting new registrations, and that means less people can join Bittrex and trade Vertcoin. So that's already problem number one. The second problem is that Bittrex is not really the most popular exchange right now. We've seen a lot of growth and most of the volume now coming from Binance, and the new one that's coming up is KuCoin. Those are both Asian foreign exchanges, but they're really big right now. Those are both great exchanges, and that's where a lot of the money is. So Vertcoin is definitely taking a bit of a hit because of that, right? It's not on those big exchanges, and we can always see that change, but it would be great if it got listed on something like Binance. That would definitely turn things around, I think, in the short term. Now, a couple other things that I wanted to talk about, a bit more about macro stuff, is the fact that the marketplace has changed quite a bit, right, in a very short period of time. And there's two things that I think that Vertcoin is missing in today's market environment. For one, it doesn't really have that much of a hype factor, right? It was always built on the fact that it was a people's coin, which is fine and just a good, honest cryptocurrency. Like I said, everything is great with that, but the problem is that in today's market environment, it seems like a lot of cryptos are pushed up because of hype. For better or for worse, right? We saw cryptocurrencies like Tron kind of come out of nowhere with a lot of hype behind them. Not to say that Tron is a bad cryptocurrency, but that was definitely one of the reasons why it grew so much. Same thing with cryptocurrencies like Verge. And Vertcoin doesn't really have that hype factor, right? It never really had that hype factor in the first place. So it makes it a less good competitor in today's market environment. Second thing is that Vertcoin doesn't have that many specialties. It is working still on a couple things, but the problem is that we saw cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Litecoin taking a hit recently because people were questioning the fees, the transaction speed, stuff like that. Now, Vertcoin doesn't have maybe as many issues as Litecoin and Bitcoin as far as that is concerned, but it doesn't have that many specialties, right? It's very similar to Litecoin, and we're seeing cryptocurrencies like Rayblox, which is a cryptocurrency that I like a lot, kind of come into the spotlight and really started to blow up because it's answering those problems of, scalability, fees, and transaction speeds, all that stuff. So it isn't really fitting into what the market is looking for at the current moment. And those are, of course, some weaknesses. Now, another thing that I'm going to point out is the community size. The community size of Vertcoin is definitely not small. We can see over 31,000 people on the subreddit, still very active, still a lot of people online. The one problem is that the growth has started to slow down. It reached a very respectable number, but over the past couple weeks, less and less people have been joining the subreddit, which is reflective of the price decrease, right? When the price isn't doing well and it's not too hot, less people are interested about it. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword here. And a couple other things that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go over the chart here, but I did want to mention the good things about Vertcoin. One of the good things about Vertcoin is the fact that Vertcoin is not a bad cryptocurrency, right? It truly is the people's coin, I believe that, and it's very decentralized. Moreover, it does still have some things that are in development, right, which can definitely help with its current situation. Things like stealth addresses, atomic cross-chain, the whole Lightning Network thing. Those are definitely some big pros of Vertcoin, and once those things start to pan out more, it can definitely help. Another thing that is good about Vertcoin, and I mean something that can really help with what's going on, is Vertbase. Vertbase is an exchange that's not out yet, but that will attempt to do USD to VTC pairing, and that can definitely help with Vertcoin's exchange issues in part, and liquidity and everything like that. So that's definitely going to be a big plus if Vertbase comes to fruition. And another thing that I do want to say is, like I said, Vertcoin isn't a bad cryptocurrency, so it can only go so low in my opinion, right? We're seeing it fall a lot, but I mean, how low can it really get, right? It will be undersold at some point because there's a bunch of cryptocurrencies that are just trash out there. I don't think Vertcoin is one of them, right? Now, to go over a little bit about the chart, I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal position in Vertcoin. I was buying it up in these, at around that maybe $9 mark, and during the consolidation, I was still very bullish on it at that time. I believe I sold it somewhere probably at around $10, maybe, yeah, probably around $10 when I saw that it was kind of failing to really break up back towards the highs, right, the all-time high at $12. And I kind of sold in that area, maybe for maybe a break even or a slight profit. I'm not too sure about where I sold, but I did cash out, and you know, I think that was the right move because we did see the drop happen, and things have not been looking great as far as the chart goes. And I am on the USD chart, but the BTC chart isn't that great either, and the USD chart has actually been pretty accurate for predicting the moves. So what we've been seeing right now is basically we lost our range between $7.21 and $9.39. That was the first problem and the first real sign that things were starting to turn bad. Next, we saw some consolidation in between, you know, $7.70 and $6.35. $6.35 being the very important support level that we did not want to lose. Now, I also noticed that we were in a bit of a symmetrical triangle formation in between the downtrend line and the uptrend line. And I said over the past crypto updates that I've been making, you know, my daily crypto updates, that if we saw, depending on where Vertcoin was going to move, right, either to the upside of the symmetrical triangle formation or to the downside, that was really going to set the trend moving forward for Vertcoin. And what we saw happen today, just at the time of making my daily crypto update, actually, it had lost a downtrend line, and now it even dropped below the $6.35 support level. Now, it has dropped below that previously and recovered. I think that this time is one of the, you know, we haven't really dropped back below that with a full candlestick, and especially now that we're coming towards the end of the symmetrical triangle formation, there's just too much resistance ahead to move back up. I think it's going to happen. The drop below $6.35 will hold, and I can see the price falling pretty quickly, you know, down to $5 and maybe even down to our support level over here at $4.85. Will it drop lower than that in the short term? I'm not sure. I think that it's going to need to consolidate in that range a bit more, but the fact of the matter is that it's probably now gonna drop more, right, much more, and go back towards that $5 mark. Indicators not looking great either. A lot of selling volume and flattening out on that MACD didn't pan out, didn't get that crossover. Same thing on the histogram, and now we're basically downtrending again on that RSI. So not looking great there as far as the chart goes, and that's kind of what I see happening for Vertcoin. Please understand that I could just lie and say that everything was great for Vertcoin. I would avoid a lot of hate by doing that, but I do want to remain honest and give you my true opinions. This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.